will now begin with the most awaited session for the evening, a power-packed panel discussion titled Cloud and Digital for SMEs, Tech Adoption for Business Growth in the New Normal and Beyond. For which I'd like to firstly invite our moderator and chair for the session, Mr. Pradeep Bharadwaj, who is Sales Lead SMB at Amazon Web Services. Welcome, Pradeep, and thanks for joining us. Next, I'd like to welcome our esteemed panelists, and we will begin with Mr. Upkar Singh Ahuja, who is President, CICU and CMD, New Swan Group. Very warm welcome to you, sir. I'd now like to invite Mr. Anurag Agarwal, who is President, Mohali Industries Association and MD PK Industries. Welcome, sir. Next, I'd like to invite Mr. Vijay Anand, who's IT consultant and system auditor, Malwa Cotton Spinning Mills. Thank you for joining us today. Moving on, I'd like to invite Ms. Shweta Srivastav, who is CTO at Paul Merchants. Very warm welcome to you as well. And last but not the least, I'd like to invite Mr. Balihar Singh Work, who is Head IT at SPS Hospitals. Once again, a very warm welcome to all of you. And with this, I'd like to hand over to the moderator of the session to take this forward. So over to you, Pradeep. Thank you.
Thanks, Gunjan, for your introduction, and thanks all for joining this session. So like Gunjan introduced, I head the SMB at Amazon, AWS to be specific, and it gives me great pleasure to interact with you all. Some of the things that we discussed, like example, companies like Chumbak or the ice cream company Harmor, Predatory. These are all companies which are known to almost everyone, right? They are they are the SMEs of the country, right? And between us, I think between the 5-6 of us in the panel, I think all of you are leaders of some of these SMEs. So I would probably like to open up this session by requesting you to probably introduce yourself, share a little bit about your business, tell us, how has your digital transformation been? Hum sunte aa rahe hain, right? Ki, we should become more digital, we should move to the cloud, we should start doing, but how has it really affected, right? I can tell you on a personal level, say 15, 16 years ago, when I would go and tell someone saying that you can order everything over a phone, and there's a company which has just started, Ola, right? Where you can order a cab home. They used to say impossible, especially if you go to slightly the previous generation, right? But all that has changed. So I want to hear from you, right? Introduce yourself, please, to everyone. Tell us your transformation journey, and what are the challenges that you faced? I'm sure there would be a lot of naysayers, right? Saying that ye to kuch nahi hoga, aise to nahi hoga, right? How did you overcome them? So over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy to join the SME on Cloud platform today and share my experiences. I am Anurag Agarwal. I'm president for the Mohali Industry Association, and I'm running my industry here at Mohali, which is basically a B2B business, where we are OEs to Punjab Tractors, Swaraj, Mahindra Swaraj, Sonalika, Indian Railways, and exporting. So digitization, I would start with my digitization. Probably we were the first ones way back in 1988 when we set up our computer and put all our inventory onto the computer. So that I would consider my start with playing with digitalization. Before that, inventories were in our type of industry was maintained on ledgers and bahi khatas. So it is a like digitalization today. I would say in today's era when everything is on the phone, I would feel someone who is not digitized to the extent is a dinosaur and will not exist. So it has become a necessity. It is something without which we can't do without. So starting from 1988, when we moved our inventories and accounting to computers, it has been a big journey, and especially accelerated with the invent of internet, when the fax went out of order and out of operation, and we moved to emails and then the pager, the mobile phones. So that is all part of the digitization. Then WhatsApp groups are now helping us to manage our internal processes and the communication groups within the industry. And then we now the banking 100% is on online. We hardly go to the bank anytime. Probably once a month, we need to draw some cash. Even that the cash transactions have come down drastically. So all you're in 100%. So as such, my customer end digitalization is low because we are more into B2B business. But in B2C, definitely now we see everything, especially Amazon, Flipkart, e-commerce companies coming about, where if you're not on the cloud, if you're not on the digital platform, you are missing out on a huge market. So as an industry leader here at Mohali Institution, we have a lot of people also who are now moving on to digitalization. The only concerns probably as a SME would have on putting all the data on the cloud is the security issues, and especially for a small town like Mohali, probably, and when my industry goes into more hinterlands, like my industry is 20 kilometers outside Mohali, then it is the connectivity issues, the broadband issues, and you fear that today everything, if I put my cloud, then how do I assess in case the internet services go down? But I think that has to manage out, because now even the e-invoicing coming about for all SMEs with 20 crore more of turnover, every industry has to go in for e-invoicing. So we will have to look at a better IT infrastructure, so that would help probably the moving with cloud also. So I feel this is a good initiative, and all the listeners who are here, I'm very sure that they have to consider this, that digitization is an evil without which they can't do without. They'll have to embrace digitization. They will have to embrace cloud to move forward. I'll probably contribute further. Let the other panelists add on.
Sure. Vijay Anand Sahab, would you like to go next?
Good afternoon, friends. I am V.K. Anand. I started my journey of IT from 1970 when I went to IBM school and set up the first IT center of DLF. At that time, networking was not there, nor tele-support was there. Thereafter, I set up the IT center of Modi Spinning and Weaving Mills Limited. And there, certainly, by 1980, the networking started. And thereafter, I was with Vardhaman from 91. There, using line drivers, we connected remote terminals 300 yards away from the computer center. And even at that time, PCs were not available. And thereafter, I joined Oswald's Malwa Cotton Spinning Mills Limited. And here, straightway, we started online system. And with the philosophy, computer next to all. Everyone working in the organization, the computer is next to everyone. And so that duplicacy was abundant. As far as cloud is concerned, I started exploring and practicing on cloud when Control S first invited me to their Hyderabad unit. And after coming back from there, I did in a month, I put up all my applications on cloud, and I found it was working so well, and it was so easy that nowadays, if you buy a new iPhone, just to initialize that, that much effort is required, to set up a data center of your choice, wherein you can choose the hardware, you can choose the operating system, you can choose the databases, what you want. and application packages and all that. Then again, I tried, on IBM 2 at Hong Kong, and it was equally easy. And using my credit card, right? It was a 1 month free trial, right? But they said I had to provide my card details, credit card details, and I could try all my applications there also. It was working very well. Then came NetMagic. So there should not be any fear, it is just like that. You are living in your own house, right? And if you shift to a better rented house, it doesn't make any difference. It improves your quality, because if you are making a change, certainly for the betterment. So it is just like that only. And in a large organization, even at SME, you can't see the server where it is located unless until you visit your computer center of the organization, right? So similarly, if you are on cloud, if you go on cloud, it is the same thing, for you, it doesn't make any difference, where the server is lying and what is the operating system. And now, Amazon has, AWS, they had given name, right? So cloud is, there is a apprehension if the cloud will go away, जैसे पंजाब से चले गए. So what will happen to, my security and my data and everything? So it is a web services only, right? So right name is the web services, but we are still using, the cloud. So I think it is the high time that every organization must switch over to cloud and ready-made applications which are available, because it is very, very difficult to maintain your own data center, maintain backup, maintain scalability, right? And also at the time of any crisis, any crashes, what you do? 48 hours to pata bhi nahi lagega aapko, right? Whereas it is only few tens of minutes, you will be able to, absolutely no risk. And also, it is just like electricity bill. As much you consume, you pay. And we have been doing it for, 40, 50 years, right? So it is just like that. You have a meter, fixed tariff, and whatever you consume, whatever you use, you have to pay accordingly. And it is, zero OPEX, right? And only it is your operating expenses. CapEx is zero, and only, your operating expenses.
True.
That is, very clear,
True.
Whether how much you are using, and that also you can put in your costing for the various cost centers. And by now, the applications available, as explained very detail that lots of applications have been there, So you can select the application and straightway go on.
Sure. What we do is probably request Mr. Balihar Singh to come on in the interest of time, right? Probably introduce himself for a quick minute, and we'll come round again. We have few more questions which surely will interest everyone.
Yeah. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. A pleasure to be a part of this esteemed panel. My name is Balihar Singh. I'm heading the IT function of SPS Hospitals, Ludhiana, as well as we have some other units in some parts of Punjab and Haryana. So as Mr. Gopal said, that digitization is not a choice. It's a kind of compulsion, at least for the healthcare industry. And this COVID-19 was a, great leveler or kind of eye opener, where, patient doesn't want to come to the hospital because of the pandemic fear, but still they want to consult the doctors and all. Then we have to, enable these platforms, virtual consults and all this kind of stuff. For the in that part, definitely, actually, we were healthcare industry, hospitals were forced to move towards that digitization and cloud, and we are glad we did that. And yeah, and future is kind of we have moved on to EICUs. As of now, it's hospital to hospital or other doctor to doctor only, because but I think kind of the resource crunch, the certified doctors, the qualified doctors, intensivists that we have in India, it's going to be huge. Where in the command centers, the patients at the remote locations, critical care patients at the remote locations, will be maintained through the call centers. Right now, also we are doing that, and this radiology reporting, remote reporting, etc. Yeah, so we don't have any choice. We have to move towards digitalization and cloud.
Sure. Thank you, Bharia. Shweta, do you want to go next?
Hi, this is Shweta Srivastava, and I'm CTO Paul Merchants. And listening to my fellow panelists, I also was taken back to the time where, in the year 2008, where I happened to be a part of the team who was setting up an in-house data center. So I was working for a hospital in Lucknow, which is called Sahara Hospital. And it was a greenfield project where we were setting up the data center in-house. It was a huge space that we had allocated for the racks and the precision ACs that we were putting up, the FM200 gas system. So all of that overhead, and then managing racks with a specific capacity of putting up the servers, the blade servers, and with a huge amount of investment that we had done, and the overhead of running it on a 24/7 basis, having people monitor the servers performance, the switch performance. Now, all of it is gone with the introduction of cloud. There is no nightmare that a head of IT department needs to go through if he has chosen the correct partners, the correct cloud service providers, and a managed service partner. It becomes so easy, and all you need to do is to just plan how do you want to expand your business. Your contribution towards the business is much more higher as compared to the back then, because you have the bandwidth, you have the vision that you can execute. And considering the revolution that has come into all of the industries, the go-to-market time has got very, very limited. So when the business comes up with some requirement, which has, of course, the backbone lying under innovation and technology, their expectation in terms of hitting the market is always very less. And with the flexibility and scalability that comes along with the cloud environment, it becomes quite possible. So currently, while I'm working with the financial services organization, of course, everybody is aware how revolutionary it has been in the past couple of years with the introduction of digital economy and payment systems. Everything has gone into digital. The adoption of technology is no more a choice, like everybody else is saying, and to be able to sustain it, cloud has been the lever which has gotten us going. So,
Fantastic. Upkar Singh, do you want to take a quick minute to introduce yourself and tell us what to do?
Myself, I am CMD of Newswan Group. We are into core manufacturing sector. Around 2,000 employees work for us. And I am also president of Chamber of Industrial and Commercial Undertaking, known as CICU. It is a Punjab-based chamber and very active chamber. So we started our journey in 1995 when we switched over from the traditional method to the computer. So in the beginning, there were a number of challenges that like quality of hardware, quality of software, manpower was not available. But now for a business, you can't think over without computing. So other than traditional accounting, using ERP solution, controlling inventory, bookkeeping, making reports, we are also using these services in manufacturing sector. Like for inspection, we are using high-end cameras for component inspection. For yield improvement, we are using software which improve your yield a lot. For color matching also, we are using software. So these days, thinking business without a computer or digitalization is a nightmare. And
Absolutely.
during
Absolutely.
COVID, I tell you a very interesting story. Everybody was at home and there was no marketing. So at Chamber of Industrial and Commercial Undertaking, we started a Facebook group. Very simple thing. It is Make in Ludhiana. So anyway, anybody sitting anywhere in the world, if he wants any products or any services, he can just post in that. And I'm glad to share that there are 50,000 users in 1 year, and daily there are around 200 or more than that inquiries. So it is service to the SME sector or small scale sector. So when marketing is down, you can't travel to the exhibition and your customer can't travel to you. Even you are doing marketing sitting at home. So this is only possible with the digital and cloud system. And cloud is very useful where you are using costly softwares. So where the cost of the software is so high that you can't afford, especially for SME and MSME units. So it is use and pay. So you can use for some time and you have to pay less. But there are certain challenges also that like security and privacy dependence on internet is too much. So I think that's all. Time is short. What I have to say.
No, I think together in the panel, right, there has been the views which have come out surely show that how important it is to really start using the cloud or the infrastructure which is not inside your premises, right? Because when you are going, and I am reading some of the questions which are there even on the chat panel, where a lot of attendees have questions such as, what are the challenges we'll face? How if we have a server, we can use it for 10 years. There's another gentleman who says, can't we use Salesforce compared to AWS? How will it lower costs? If we don't have the bandwidth as an IT team, how do we really go into the cloud? We don't know anything about the cloud. Kaise karenge? Answers are very simple, right? And I know I might make it sound very simple. It may be a little more complicated than that, but frankly, we have ecosystem partners whom we call as consulting partners, who will come, sit with you, look at what you have, and really help you move to the cloud. And like a lot of panelists here told, everyone here at some point of time used to have ledgers. They used to write everything, right? In the hospital, they used to give the token ID, right? Ab aa jaiye, 10 baje aiye, 11 baje aiye, and we saw how it affected during the COVID, right? Everything has moved to the digital era, right? Where people want to see the records. It could be a radiology record, it's called PACS systems, right? Everything on the phone, right? It could be a fintech domain where people want to have their bank records, or they want a bank account to be opened without entering a bank, right? All this is possible, and frankly, each one of you, every company will need to go there, right? And if you have some questions with regards to security, let me tell you, if there is no other way you can be more secure than looking at, say, the AWS cloud, because here you're not trying to say mujhe ye chahiye ya wo chahiye. You get everything, and your security will be in the same benchmark as, say, some of the biggest or the most secure fintech company or healthcare company in India or globally, because the platform is only one, right? So that is the level of security. So absolutely secure. Some people have asked, how do you reduce your IT cost? You reduce your IT cost because you are now getting access to an infrastructure where we are able to give you better pricing as we scale. And that brings me to the next question, right?
Pradeep, just like
And I am
just
also
one
aware of the
question.
time, right? So one
You said,
question which
just one. You said the AWS cloud, you are very secure. So that means there's a need to choose the cloud service to ensure your safety, or all cloud services are safe.
so I can actually talk about AWS, right? I cannot really comment on others, but frankly, if you and there are a lot of online forums which you can go and read up about, right? And if you go and see the instances where an AWS cloud has got compromised is so few that it gives you complete peace of mind, right? So one question which I want, and I know we are running short of time, is that how do you really perceive the cloud as an enabler? And if you had to probably choose 2 or 3 things, what would you really want to digitize first? Would it be marketing? Would it be security? Would it be inventory? Though it's very difficult to really say, ye karunga or ye nahi karunga. You probably had to do quite a lot of things at the same time. But still, if you had to pick up some of those things, right? Any thoughts on that? Would you say,
Yeah, I will.
whatever is
I'll
first
answer.
relevant to my customer, I will digitize first, move to the cloud, and then look at other things? What's your thought?
In this, every cloud service provider gives you around 15 days to 1 month free trial, right? So for any application that you are running right now, go for it, right? Have a try and feel comfortable on this. And thereafter, you will have only obvious choice to remain on that. You will feel so comfortable on that. Another question I was reading, how to lower IT cost. IT costs are going down day by day. For all the participants, I will tell you that I purchased, 1 byte of memory for $1 in 1970. And today, for 1 paisa, you get 10 MB. एक पैसे की कोई चीज नहीं मिलेगी आपको हिंदुस्तान में, लेकिन 10 MB मेमोरी मिलेगी आपको. So that is the cost. So it is coming down every day. It is coming down. And third thing is, VAT is applicable or not. If we buy hardware, we get VAT refund. But VAT is for it is for the services also. And here also, whatever the amount you are paying, you will certainly get some refund on that, and how you put up, in that.
So yeah, Pradeep, so you were saying that which functions you will utilize first. So this digitization cannot be in silo.
Correct.
It has to be interconnected. It's not like I'll digitize
Absolutely.
my marketing and then I'll not, because if I digitize my marketing, there will be funnel, which will be, for patient queries, etc. Everything will be to the hospital. Then when I am not able to manage them, reach back to them, then come to the conclusion whether they converted, if they converted, whether I'm able to, push their records online to them. So they need not come just for the sake of collecting the reports, they need not come back to the hospital. So it has to be end to end. It cannot be inside.
Very true. And there's a reason I asked this, right? सबके मन में ये चलता है कि पहले क्या करूं? It is just that it is so interwoven to each other. You have to pretty much take a lot of this. So we are running short of time, right? One thing which I can tell is you will all get a feedback form, right? You will all get a participation form in which there will be a few questions. One of the questions is, do you want to be contacted by a partner? Right? Like some of the panelists mentioned, even Mr. Vijay Anand mentioned, opt for a partner to reach out to you. You will get 2-3 things. One, you will get their domain expertise. They will give you let me tell you again, free consultation. They will tell you what to do, kaisa karna hai, kya karna hai, kya kar sakte hain, at zero cost to you. We will bear that cost, right? You can test moving some of your in-house to the cloud at zero cost. You will not incur any cost to move to the cloud, at least in the first instance, right? Try it out. We will help you to move, right? They have already done it several times. They know what has to be digitized. They know how it can be done easily. So please do opt in, and that should help you really move to the cloud faster and also take care of concerns if it is on security or costing or anything else. Any parting thoughts, Shweta, Anurag, Balihar, Upkar Singh, anyone? Any thoughts? Anand?
I'll go here. So
Please.
for people who have not yet started their cloud journey, the only question that they need to ask themselves is why? Why do I want to go to the cloud? And if I go to the cloud, what are the measurable KPIs that I can look for? It's not just that I want to take my marketing onto the cloud. That's not the way we should ideally be thinking. We should just be thinking that what business use case, business problem can I solve by taking onto the cloud, and what would be the KPIs? How do I measure whether I am able to achieve the successful outcomes or not? That is very important when you're looking for a cloud. And I would definitely go with Pradeep when he says that look out for a trustable partner like AWS. They will guide you. They will help you understand where can this fit in and how best can you achieve the outcomes of cloud movement. That's very important.
Thanks, Shweta.
So the journey of cloud is not if, it's only when.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Can't agree with you more, right? The pace of innovation is so much today कि अगर हम लोग घर में बैठे सर्वर का देखते रहेंगे ना, we will forget what to do, because today I understand it takes 8 weeks to get a server. So it just doesn't make economic sense.
And costs are 150% up.
काल करे सो आज कर.
आज करे सो तो अब.
No point differing for the technology. Now it is 50 years old.
Yeah. Anurag, Balihar, Upkar, anything that you want to add?
I think we would look, as we said, from in B2B, I think the cloud, what our exposure to cloud has been either a certain amount of accounting softwares which are now on cloud, or designing softwares which are on cloud, which we can use, or we are assessing our ERP for the customer ERP where we are loading our things. So there are some of the areas which we are using presently the cloud. So what we would want is we would like to be more aware. We could hold a seminar for the Mohali Association, especially for the B2B companies, where they can, what are the other applications available for on cloud, which a B2B company can use, and probably we would like to embrace them. And as I said, it is important to move forward and get digitized, because efficiency, definitely digitization will increase your efficiencies. And today, everything is all about costs.
Absolutely. 20th, I think we are doing something in Chandigarh. Like I said, ask for one of our partners to reach out. They will take you in depth. One thing which I can tell you, right, and this is one of the questions which came up in the chat panel as well. When you buy a software or an application, you pay as an individual, as a company, you pay for the whole lot. On the cloud, you use for the second you use. You pay only for that second, that minute, that second, right? So your cost dramatically comes down. 5 people are using for, say, 5 minutes, that's all you pay. You don't pay anything more. But yes, it requires a larger conversation. Once you opt in, our partners can reach out to you and help you.
Sure.
Anurag, last point, I would like to add that even Government of India is considering to have a huge cloud center at every stage, so that right from registration of your company, application, everything you do on that, everything will be available, right? And you leave the data there, and you need not to provide any report to the government of India, whether PF or sale tax or anything, nothing would be required. And this consideration is at highest level. Maybe,
So your data is your data, right? Nobody, and I mean it, absolutely nobody can get your data. Even I can't get your data. Amazon can't get your data.
they will only take out the reports. Whatever
so
they
unless-
submit, what I'm saying is there will be a linkage, to that. Right?
No,
Now
so
you
only
might
if you want. So like, for example, if you say ye tax submit kijiye to government of India, then it will go. But otherwise, they can't come into your system and take out anything. So it's super safe. There have been a couple of instances where people came, outside of the company, right? They came with so as to say a letter saying that this has to be given to this person. We said absolutely no. So your data and record is 100% safe in the cloud. It is yours and it will remain yours.
Thank you, all the panelists. Thank you, Pradeep. That was a very, very engaging session. I'd like to thank all our esteemed panelists and our industry partners, Mohali Industries Association and Chamber of Industrial and Commercial Undertakings. Wish you all a great day. Stay safe and take care. Thank you very much.